Welcome back to my channel. Usually I do mom vlogs and daily things, but I wanted to do this video for a little while, and I wanted to do it in June because it was like the awareness month, but that didn't happen with all the other stuff going on. So I thought, well, I'm gonna do it, and I wanted to make sure I did it right. I even made notes because I want to be able to give you guys the most information that I can, because when I was diagnosed with this during my pregnancy, I had no idea what it was, and you guys would be like, what are you talking about? And I can't even pronounce it, but I was diagnosed with cholestasis. You guys help me out here, but I can never say it, but that's what I was diagnosed with. My little story time was, it was between, I want to say 26 and 30 weeks, where my head started to get itchy. Like, this is like so serious. And it sounds funny and everything, and it was at the time. And I mean, I was like itching my head constantly, and I went to Andrew. I was like, okay, you have to check my head. I think because this is before the kids like got out of school. Like, this was early March. And I was like, I think I have lice. I said, I think the kids brought something home. But I checked the kids' heads, they were fine. He checked my head. He was like, you don't have any lice. And it was itchy and itchy. I mean, I would go in, I would just scratch. I would wake up in the middle of the night scratching my head, and it got worse and worse. And then it started, then I had my mom check it, because I was like, okay, I was convinced Andrew missed something. So I go to my mom, I was like, you have to check my head. I was like, it's itchy, it won't stop. Like, it was like tears, like, you know. So she checked it, and she was like, your head is completely clean. I'm not saying clean, but like clean. There's nothing in it. I was like, Mom, it's so itchy. I went to I went to Walmart, and I got all the anti-itch shampoos. Wouldn't work. I didn't know what to do. You know, I thought dry skin, we're in March, whatever. So then it started going down my neck. And I was like, what is this? You know, and I mean, it was like my neck was itchy. And then I woke up one time in the middle of the night. I was like in the middle of the night, and I was like scratching my back. I was trying to scratch my back. And finally it got to the point where, well, I'm also on blood thinners too when I'm during pregnancy, because I had issues with blood clots. So that was, remember that. So I would wake up and I had scratch marks. If I can find the picture, I will show you. I'll post the picture up here. But I was like bloody. Like, I was scratching myself to the point of like bleeding. And I was like, this is not normal. I mean, I finally found what did work it was one medicated lotion that worked. So I would use that. So finally when I went to one of my checkups, I went to my doctor. I was like, I am so itchy. And I showed her, like, I was like showing her like all this, and she was like, we need to get your levels checked. And I was like, for your liver enzymes. I want to say that's what it was. And I was like, well, for what? And she was like, we just want to rule some stuff out. And she mentioned the cholestasis. And I was like, what is that? And she tried to explain it. She was like, it's a liver condition where, for some reason, later in pregnancy, your liver, I'm going down. When your hormones rise, your bile in your blood doesn't do what it's supposed to, and it builds up and it makes you itchy. She goes, it could be really detrimental to the baby. She goes, we just want to rule it out. She goes, don't get upset, rule it out. So like, okay, I got my blood checked, and they called, and they were up. She was like, okay. And by this point, it was like 2 more days after I got the blood work, or it was like a couple days. It took a while. Bottoms of my feet were itchy. The palms of my hands were itchy. I was like, I was literally like, I didn't know what to do. So she was like, okay, and then she went over everything. When you have this, there's no family, you have it in your family history and all that. There's no preventing it. You don't know if you're going to get it until you get it. And one of the main concerns is stillbirth after 37 weeks. And she said that, and I was like, oh my God, I've flipped. You could, that's like one of my, every pregnant woman's fear. And I was like, oh my God. So she was like, we're going to put you on medicine. I was on a medicine, and I'll be honest with you, I cannot remember the name of it, but I'm not giving any medical information, because if you get this, you will be on this medicine. And it was like 900 milligrams. I was taking 300 milligrams 3 times a day, morning, in the afternoon, and at night, and to keep everything going. And for 2 weeks, I was itch free. I mean, it was like for 2-3 weeks, itch free. So I was planning on having a C-section, of course, anyway, because I had them previously, and that's what it was, I chose. And so we were going to do that at 37 weeks, because that's like the cutoff. You want to have a C-section if you have cholestasis before like 37 weeks. I was like, okay. So I woke up like 2.5 weeks into taking this medicine. I woke up again, and I was a little itchy. By the time, like 2 hours into the day, from the top of my head to the soles of my feet was complete itchy. I couldn't take it anymore. And I was like 35 weeks pregnant by then. 34, 35 weeks pregnant. Well, I called the doctor right away. They called in an anti-itch medicine, which didn't work, because you take it and it just makes you sleep. And I couldn't sleep because by then the kids were home for the whole quarantine crap. Okay, anyway. So I was like, okay. It didn't work anyway. It didn't work. So I had an appointment. Oh, also, I forgot. Oh my God, how did I forget this? When you have this, they have to watch the baby. So I was going in every week for an anti-stress test, like where they hook you up, they check the baby. Every week I was going there. Every other week I was going and making sure and getting an ultrasound where they measure the baby to make sure everything was okay. So I was doing that already. So I went in for one of my non-stress tests, and after I told them, and I was in tears at the doctor's office. I mean, I had shoes on, I was itching, and they're doing this non-stress test, and he was like, how are you? And I was just like, I'm itchy. By then I was 35 weeks. And I was like, I don't know what to do. I was like, I was crying. I was like, the itch, if you have this, if you're pregnant and you're watching this, the itch, you will know, you'll be like, I feel for you, because it is so unbearable, and there's nothing you can do to stop this itch. Like, it's a form of torture. It really is. So I told my doctor, I was like, I don't know what to do. I was like, I'm itchy. And he was like, and I was scheduled for the following week to have my C-section, like at 37 weeks, but it was like a day off of 37 weeks. It was a Friday. And he was like, you got to hang in there. You're 35 weeks. And I was like, okay. So I get home, and the next day, I don't know how I was getting through these days. I really don't. When I look back on it, because I mean, I was scratched up. I mean, he knew. Well, I was doing something. I was making the kids something, because this is when everything was going on, and they were home from school, and I was trying to keep them occupied. Well, I got this weird phone call, and I answered it, and it was my doctor. My doctor actually called, like me, no one else. And he was like, are you ready to have a baby? I was like, what? He explained to me that, I'm sorry, this is turning into a story time before I get into everything. Sorry. But he was like, we're going to induce you on, not induce you, we're going to take the baby on Monday. And this was like Thursday, I think, Thursday or Friday. Like, it was like quick. It was like, and I was like, are you serious? He was like, yeah. He goes, I'm canceling your non-stress test, because I had the non-stress test for Monday. He goes, we're just taking the baby. I guess what happened was he called the head of, whatever it's called, the head of baby whatever, and he explained to them what was going on with me, and they said it was actually safer for them to take the baby at 36 weeks, and rather than letting me go a few more days, they were like, just get the baby out. They looked at my ultrasounds, they saw the baby was fully developed. They obviously can't tell, like, if the lungs function and all that, but they were like, 36 weeks is good, take the baby, because they didn't know what was happening with me, because I was so itchy and the medicine wasn't working anymore. So they were like, it outweighed it. So I started crying on the phone because he, you know, and I was like, and I told my doctor, I said, oh my gosh, I said, I'm crying because the itch is gonna go away. I said, I don't even care about having the baby. I don't care. Get this itch gone. So I had the baby at 36 weeks. Everything was perfect. He was perfect. He was fine. I mean, not saying that everyone is like that. For me, I got lucky. So, you know, everything was good. He was 6 pounds though. So when we took him home, he was 5'9", Mays. He was born on March 30th, 2020. But anyway, cholestasis. Girls, women, if you get pregnant, there is no way of knowing you will get this. No way. I never had it before. Never even knew what it was. But it's like in their 3rd trimester, the first real sign of it is itchiness. And there's no rash. You do not get a rash. I know rashes come with a lot of things during pregnancy, but there's no rash with this. And the most common places to get itchy, which weren't my common places, mine got at the end, but the first is like your palms and the soles of your feet. Those, if you start that, it's something that you have to just mention it to your doctor. It might not even be it. I don't want to worry anyone. I just want to make this clear because a lot of people do not know what this is. My mom, my family, no one knew what it was. And when I said I was itchy, everyone was like, lotion, like giving me tips, lotion. Oh, no, the itch it's in your blood. It does not stop. And if you're watching this, you're like, oh my God, someone knows what I'm going through. No one I knew. There was one person on my Facebook. Yes, there was one person. I used to work with her, and she messaged me, and she had it, and she felt for me. She knew. She was the only one that knew what I was going through. So if you have this and you need someone to talk to, it messes with you mentally so bad because I keep saying it, but you are that itchy. But okay, so it starts with your hand and feet. It's the less common symptoms is like jaundice, nausea. I'm reading this, and like loss of appetite. I did feel kind of sick. I will, but I don't. When you're pregnant, you don't know if you're sick because of pregnant, whatever. But I was kind of off. But again, I was just so itchy. I wasn't sleeping. I was a mess. It was crazy. But they say that I'm reading this from a website and I wrote it down. It says doctors think when your hormones rise, it can cause the slowdown of the normal flow of bile, and that's what builds up in your system and makes you itchy. The risks are family history, history of liver damage. If you had anything wrong with your liver, it could, I guess, do it. And twins, multiples. I was not pregnant with multiples. I had one. Like I said, I never heard of this. I never had it before. It just popped up. And let me tell you, my tubes are dying, but if they weren't, I wouldn't chance it again because I couldn't do it again. I could not. That's how itchy I was. And the complications are preterm birth, lung problems because baby comes usually early, and stillbirth. That's the main thing. After if you have this, they will induce you at like 37 weeks there, and I would insist because that's scary. And I do know people when I found out, I joined some like groups on Facebook, all those, and to see other people that have had it. And some people have had stillbirths and found out after the fact that's what they had, and they didn't know they had it. So, but that is my story. I just wanted to make it known to people that, in pregnant ladies, you are not alone if you have this. If you are itchy, please, 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 just talk to your doctor. You are not alone. It can be serious. It could be nothing. But I had no idea what this was. And someone got fireworks. But I just wanted to make this video to let people know my story, that I had it and it worked out perfectly fine. It was just extra steps and just made life crazy for a few weeks. But you are not alone, and if you need someone to talk to, I'm always here. Leave a comment below, subscribe to my channel. Just a little story time and an update to pregnant women out there that you're not alone. Good luck, and I hope no one is itchy as I was.